how you doing? Today I want to talk about relationships, any kinds of relationships. A lot of us out there tend to wish we had an equal balanced relationship, a give and take, a loving relationship, somebody that supports you, communicates with you, and you know, it's just easy with. But in any kind of relationship, friendship, family, relationship, dating, colleagues, work, have you done your part? It's so easy to wish for the other person to be this, that, and the other. But have you really done your part yet? Most of the times when I have clients or even friends that come to me and say, hey, I want to date, or I just broke up with this person, I'm going to get into the next relationship. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. So do you feel that that's what you really want to do right now? And what are you looking for? So it depends on if you're just looking for, say, dating, right? If you really are just looking for a one night stand or just having fun, that's a different story. Just let the other person know that you're doing it, right? Because we really don't want to cause that bad intent or hurt on somebody else if they're more invested than you are. And the same thing goes for friendship as well, where we all wish to have that best friend or great friends, authentic, supportive, expansive, you can talk with, you can goof around with, go on adventures, go on travel with. And, I do talk to a lot of clients and even people out there when I read articles and stories where they feel really lonely, especially in COVID. Feel very lonely, sad, nobody gets them. You're always the overgiver. You're always the one that gives time, gives presents, forgiving when somebody doesn't show up or show up 3 hours late. But you forgive them anyway because they're your friend or they're your longest friend. Doesn't have to be that way. So what I'm saying to you is, have you looked at your own woundings lately? Have you looked at your own triggers? Have you looked at the way you might be perceived by other people? Because it's so easy to get into that fact where, no, it's the other person. They're the one that can't meet me halfway. There's something wrong with them. They're their a-hole, whatever, not right. They're their narcissist, whatever you call it. There's so many different words out there. I'm not going to list out everything, but you know what I mean? It's so easy to blame somebody else. But have you really looked at yourself? Have you really done all the work that you can on yourself? Because inner work always takes time, and it's a lifelong lesson that we continue to evolve and grow and change and welcome in opportunities, hopefully. And hopefully, if we made mistakes, we know how to unmake them or learn from them at least, right? So with relationships, let's talk about friendship, for instance. Are you giving too much? Are you a people pleaser? So when you're a people pleaser, you tend to give a lot of your time, give gifts, and just nurture everybody, right? Kind of like a helicopter mom. Hey, are you good? Do you have enough cookies? Do you have enough milk? Are you warm enough? For you, most healers are like this. Most empaths are like this, where they're just good people that have been hurt before, probably, most likely. I'm not saying everybody has, but people pleaser usually comes from something that was ingrained to us when we were children, where our parents, for instance, might have to we might have to please them a certain way, and if we didn't show up the way they wanted us to, they got mad, they got angry, or they withheld love, and therefore we learned to become people pleasers, to like, oh, my mama and dad won't be mad if I show up like this. If I keep continuing coming up with gifts or take care of them, then they won't get mad at me. So you're conditioned. You're actually learning unconditioned love, which is unfortunate. But we all do the best we can. Even our parents. They're not perfect. They just do the best they can because they're humans, right? So what I'm trying to say is that, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say is that we need to understand when we're doing more than our fair share. When we're doing 80% of a relationship and the other person is giving 20%, no matter what kind of relationship, friendship, partners, dating, friends, family, no matter what kind of relationships out there, even colleagues, you need to know that it's supposed to be 50-50, but you also have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to speak up when something's going wrong. You have to be able to own your part. If you overextended yourself, you can't blame the other person because you overextended yourself, because this is something that is in you to give, to give, to give, to give, to give, to show up, forgive, forgive, forgive. Because innately, you're a little girl, you're a little boy wants to just be loved. And so you'll put up with anything, and subconsciously, it's in your programming, but consciously, you haven't realized that it's in your programming. So therefore, you kind of act like a robot and do it. It's just natural, tick, 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 because it's in your program. So we have to rewire that, right? Realize that, oh, you know what? My friend doesn't show up and she just lets me wait here. She never texts me, or she shows up 3 hours late. Like I don't have anything to do. Or, she came on vacation and she was supposed to meet me and she ended up with somebody else instead. And it makes you feel hurt. It makes you feel like you're not enough. It makes you feel really shitty because you would never do that to anybody. So you have to realize that that's that person's woundings, that's that person's choices, and it's harming you and disrespecting you. So do you really want to have a friend like that in your life? You have to ask yourself, is this something that they consistently do? Or is this something that they do sometimes when they're stressed and just forget? Is this a conversation that you can have with your friend? Is this something that you can ask them, hey, when you do this, when you do not show up or you don't text me and I'm here waiting for you, I've canceled, clients, I've canceled, like, I made room for you, so I'm sitting here waiting for you because you told me that you were going to show up. It really hurts my feelings, and also I could have done a lot of different things. What happens when you do that? Have open conversations. Don't be scared of them. I used to be shitless of them because I was like, oh no, it's confrontation. But it's all in the way you ask. It's all in the way you approach it. It's all in the way of love, right? You're trying to understand another person and you're setting a boundary as well, that you won't be disrespected and you should treat somebody with kindness and care just like they expect it, right? So, and then another thing would be when you're overgiving again, realize that you're like, hey, do I want to give because I really want to give? Or is there something in me that feels I have to give because I just want to be loved by this person? I just want people to care about me. And that innately can be a really strong wounding in a people pleaser. And you're not really a people pleaser by choice. Let's face it, you're not. But a lot of people pleasers, a lot of empath and healers do not realize that they're doing this, where they give away their energy, give away the time, give away their services for free, give away the love, compassion, holding space, or even knowledge. Just when you give people free knowledge all the time and you consistently show up for them but they don't show up for you, it can be very draining on a person's energy, right? So you have to really be cognizant of, do I really want to spend my energy right now? Is this worth it? I have friends where they go on and on about their problems all the time. And you have to realize, and it's not just friends, it's clients and clients' friends and families and whatever not, right? So I just say, I know people where they just go on and on and on about the same problem or whatever not, right? Some people, because they don't love themselves enough, or they don't see what the problem is, or they don't see their part in it, will take your energy because you're holding space for them and you're lending a listening ear, to dump it on you. This happened to me, and like, I just need you to listen to me, da 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 da. But a friendship, family, relationship should all be very equal giving and taking, right? Not just, hey, I'm just gonna dump everything on you and you better take it. But they obviously say it in a nice way where like they just rant about their stuff and then there was no room for you to speak at all. They didn't ask about how you were doing, what's going on. But they're siphoning your energy. And then what's going to happen is that they'll go to somebody else. Once they've taken your energy, feel better, they're probably going to go to somebody else to take their energy storage from them because they're not able to create that for themselves because they're stuck in this dark loop. So you have to ask yourself when you give away your energy freely, is this really worth it? If I give away my energy and hold space for this person, will it really count? And I'm specifically saying this to empaths and healers and people, especially women, that give their time so freely, give their energy so freely, loving and caring, wanting to show up for people. Do you necessarily think that this is something good that you're doing for that person? Are you enabling their behavior? Are you basically trying to recover your own energy after you talk to them because they just took all your energy and now you found out that they're talking to somebody else and somebody else? So the problem wasn't fixed. They just needed a quick fix. And therefore, like for me, I learned the hard way, saying like, nope, you know what? This particular person or this particular issue you can't help with because you have to protect yourself. You have to love yourself more to set up those boundaries and say, hey, sorry, I don't have time right now, or I'm doing something, or honestly, I don't have the energy right now to hold space for anybody else. Or just say, hey, I'm busy. But most importantly, it's about open communication. It's about the approach that you use when you talk to people. It's not pointing fingers, it's being curious and understanding. Does that make sense? And so in relationships, you want to make sure that you've healed your portion of your traumas and triggers and what other people have given to you in relationships or what you've endured, or you know what I mean? Don't go in there and say like, I just had a conversation with a colleague. She said, I don't want to be in relationships anymore where I have to be the mother or I be the servant. And a lot of women go through this. Let's not kid ourselves. I've been there a lot. I laugh at my vulnerability, but true, because I'm a giver. I'm a people pleaser by nature, I guess. Well, by conditioning, but I'm unlearning that. And it takes time. You know, these kind of woundings and these kind of conditioning that we have endured for most of our lives, we don't realize it until it's blatantly obvious and you can't unsee it anymore. So you want to see, she said, I don't want to be the mother or I don't want to be the servant. Now I know this person, and I know my tendencies as well is I'm a people pleaser, I'm overgiving, you will do anything for other people. And you're just caring and nurturing, right? So you want the people you love to be comfortable. So you do what you can. But you're also giving everything you got and you cannot almost leaking out your value as well. So if you think that you're countering these kind of men all the time that are taking from you, they're unavailable, but they're taking from you and they require you to be servant, you might want to take a look at your own abilities and what you're doing if you are actually enabling this behavior by overgiving, by overextending. So my advice is to heal that portion and like show yourself some love and show up for yourself and go like, hey, I really don't need to do this for this person because they could do themselves. I need to be centered and balanced in myself to show up equally in this relationship. Well, I hope that worked and I hope it made sense to you. Have a great day. Namaste.